Hello guys, last night was the season 2 premiere of Sleepy Hollow, right? So the show starts off and it's like literally very confusing. It's like so confusing. Alright, so we start off, Abby and Ichabod, she's out of purgatory, he's out the coffin, right? And they're like, searching for this key. And then they get attacked by the Headless Horseman. Then they go see War, who they have in prison. And they both talk about that it's pretty much been a year since the events. Apparently Katrina has died, and so has Jenny, which is Abby's sister. So my thing is, this is like, my best guess was like, okay, maybe they did it like this, and maybe we'll have like like flashbacks to see what happened between that 1 year, right? But then when Ichabod and them was at this office, there was this plant on the table, right? And it was like growing abnormally, like something ain't right here, because that plant should not be doing that, all right? So when they go to visit War, they give him the plant, and he's like planting stuff and stuff, and then Ichabod and Abby are talking and stuff, and they realize that something is wrong. And so they realize that this was literally all a mind game, that she's still in purgatory and he's literally still trapped in that coffin. So they realize that pretty much War was using them to try to figure out information about this key. So now Ichabod has to hurry and get out, save Abby from purgatory, and pretty much use this key to save her, because this key is able to literally open the gates to purgatory. So when he gets out, he literally realizes that on top of him is buried sulfur, so he lights it up. I'm like, it's kind of dangerous, but it's Ichabod. And he blows it up and he escapes. But before he escapes, he takes his cell phone and tries to record, pretty much, I guess you would say, his last words. Then he realizes that they didn't record. He's like, oh, great. I'm like, I love when they show Ichabod with technology. It's just so funny. Then he escapes, and he calls Jenny, right, who's with a Hessian, after the Sin Eater, aka the Horseman of War, takes the information about the key from her mind and goes and search for it, and leaves a Hessian to her. So she attacks him, knocks him out, and texts his Crane back saying, I'm on Route 9. So he gets her, they drive, and pretty much try to find the key to save Abby from purgatory. Meanwhile, in purgatory, Abby is pretty much trying to stay out of sight of Morlock. Yeah, Morlock. That's pronounced right. Yeah, Morlock. Trying to stay out of sight of Morlock. So we see John Cho's character. I keep forgetting his name. He pretty much wants to help Abby out. She has to reach Crane, so he tells her that Morlock has this like window magic looking glass thing in his home, which is how he communicated how they communicate between the dead, the mirror, And so he decides that, with pretty much with, he says the most beautiful thing. He said, you make me human and stuff like this. And saying, with my last, shred of free will and humanity left, I'm going to help you. I'm like, oh, he loves her. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, please, your love. Anyway. So, okay, he goes to help her to get to the mirror, right? So we get there, right? And it's not like what I would think a demon would probably... I was thinking of something maybe a little bit creepier what a demon would be. But it looks like... Water's like... Home is like... I'm trying to figure... It's like... Okay, it's like made out of like... Looks like straw or something. Like, it's like arch like this, and you go in... And it's like, okay, it's like semi-dark, but not too dark. It has some candles and stuff, And then when she gets there, it's like the main place. It's like, there's dirt on the floor, like sand or something, whatever you want to call it. And there's a big, like, freaking mirror, right? With a big old satanic sign in the middle with, like, I'm guessing it's Latin writing on it. And then there's a bottom, she has to read it in order to activate the mirror so she can communicate with Ichabod. So she reads it and communicates with him. And, she hugs him and stuff, and he said, and he pretty much tells her the plan that I'm going to have to get the key to get you out of here. And that way, to get out there safely, because if she were to leave purgatory, somebody would have to take her place. A soul has to remain in order for a soul to leave. But if she has the key, she can leave without having to sacrifice somebody else to stay in her place. right? And so she at first tells Ichabod, that don't try to save me because Morlock is over here trying to raise an army so he could pass through the gates of Purgatory, But Ichabod's like, I'm not gonna leave you behind, and they hug for a minute, hugs more, and then she has to hurry to get out of there because Morlock is coming, and she has to find the amulet Katrina gave her, but she had lost it somewhere behind the church, so now she has to go back to the church and try to find it, right? So that's what happens with that. Then Ichabod and Abby, Ichabod and Jenny, they start looking up clues, and that relates to Benjamin Franklin. And Ichabod's like, he was under the training of Benjamin Franklin, but apparently Benjamin Franklin had a big ass ego, pretty much. So they come upon the Hessians who are digging near the only Benjamin Franklin statue in Sleepy Hollow. So they like so Ichabod's remembering this like literal the key is beneath the clock or something like that. I think that's how it went. And the Ichabod's like, yes. Then they look behind him, and this the clock thing, right? So he goes to there and they see a brick with BF on it for Benjamin Franklin. So he digs it out and gets the key. Woo! So they head off to save Abby. Abby is behind the church looking for the key. Like the amulet, where's the amulet? Where's the amulet? Like, God darn it! Like she's panicking. The time to bed, crying like, no, Abby. But then we see Ichabod, right? He hugs her, all right. And she's like, oh my God, you're parched. Here, drink this. I'm like, don't drink it. That's not him. Because you're not supposed to drink anything in purgatory nor eat anything in purgatory. So then we see the real Ichabod, like, Abby, don't drink it. And she looks at him like, what? And then the Ichabod's two fight, right? They fight. And then Abby runs, and the Ichabod behind her with the key runs. He's like, run, Abby, run. And he's like, and then they come upon the gate where they have to open, right? He's like, come on, Lieutenant. We have to hurry get out here. And that's when she says, like, wait a minute. Grabs sword, chops his head off. The Ichabod comes up like, how did you know that wasn't me? She said, because he called me Lieutenant. Ichabod calls a lieutenant. Like, he mispronounces the word. So that's how she knew it was him. I like touche. So then they getting ready to open the door, right? And we got the army, more like the army behind her. They looking like freaking a demon and a bunch of zombies on a horse, and a bunch of zombies like but it was a thriller dance. So they hurry up and get out, and Morlock is trying to hurry up and get to the door before it closes. I'm like, ha, you're trapped. It closes behind him, right? And then the key in Ichabod's hand disintegrates. So my best guess, that key only has a one-time use on it. So then it's her and Abby, and they go back to the cabin and try to be a little celebratory, but Ichabod's like, my wife has been kidnapped by the Headless Horseman of Death, and my son is the Horseman of War. How I'm supposed to feel about that? He's like, Ichabod, don't worry, we're gonna stop this from happening, stuff like this. And then we see War heading somewhere, and then he sees Morlock in the mirror, and Morlock's like, pretty much saying he failed to get the key and stuff. And Morlock then gives him this suit of armor because he's War, But obviously he can't actually be in the armor because he can't fight because obviously he's old. And so he gives him orders that's gonna. He gives him this armor which War can use his soul to control, right? And so then he gives him the sword. The sword like flames up. I'm like, oh snap! Oh yeah, about to go down. What? And then also in the episode, we see what happens to Katrina. So the Headless Horseman has her prisoner, right? And so there's like this random this moment where we see the Horseman take off his clothes, and we see him walking around. Pretty much, I'm like, damn, for a Headless Horseman, he is buff. Like he is like buff, right? I'm like, what is he doing? Like he changes from the clothes that we normally see him in. He changes something to nice, a nice, a bit nicer. I'm like, is this nigga prepared for a date? like he brings bread or something. Like, what is it with bread? Because back in the old time, like every time you see a movie that's like a time period movie, they always eating bread. It's always, let's break bread. It's always bread. So that's what he gives. He gives a bread, right? I'm like, this fool is over here preparing for a date. And then he puts the necklace that he gave her the first time. And, she was like, no, I don't want you. and she puts it on it and it starts to glow. So then we have an illusion of his head, so she can sit here and talk to him. And she pretty much says that my heart does not belong to you, it never will. So pretty much stop being thirsty, because that's what he is being thirsty. A girl don't want you. So that you know that in the past, you know, it's nice, but I don't choose you, I choose Ichabod. So stop being thirsty, let it go. Like, dude, seriously, let it go. Stop being thirsty. Like, damn. But he is buff for a Headless Horseman, though. Like, but I'm mad he got ready for, like, a little date thing. Like, he changed his clothes, he got fresh and everything. I'm like, but my thing is, one, you don't have a head. So how you think this relationship gonna work? Two, you have her against a will. Three, she don't want you. I don't know how he think this is gonna work out. I really don't know. You know, then he's talking about, you know, Ichabod's gonna be dead soon and blah blah blah. Pretty much talks mad. What? And that's pretty much all that happens in that episode. I was like, I love it though. It's a good episode. Can't wait to see what more happens in season 2 of Sleepy Hollow. And so comment, rate, subscribe, and tell me what you guys think. I mean, it was good. Okay, I'm trying to remember what other horsemen do they need. Okay, we got war, we got death. Okay, they need to show. There's also famine, and it's pestilence. They stopped pestilence, but obviously, they stopped pestilence last season. But obviously, most likely, I'm guessing, you know, they're gonna have to bring back a way for pestilence to get through, and for famine to come. We got meet famine. That would be interesting. That would be interesting to see meet famine, right? And also, since it's supposed to be the end of times, obviously we're gonna get a lot more evil spiritual activity, which is gonna be very interesting. And actually, I also love about this show is the twist on American history in terms of when it comes to the founding of this nation and stuff like that. A little twist on it. I love it. It makes a good show. And also, of course, there's Ichabod's trying to get used to modern technology and stuff like that. It's hilarious. Anyways, again, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Monday, well, technically Tuesday, for the review of the second episode of Sleepy Hollow. So, bye.